Hey there. How are you today? I hope that you are very, very well and that you can enjoy this beautiful spring weather. Or I hope that you're having some beautiful spring weather in your place too. I'm really enjoying this spring. It feels like a bit of a fresh start. And as you know, I've moved to a new place and currently still thinking about how best to decorate it, what furniture I still need, and recently I found this little book nearby in the neighborhood. There is an open bookstore for the neighborhood. You can just leave your books there that you've read and that you don't want anymore. Or if you're looking for something new, you can go there and see if someone's left something that you would like to read. And it works really well. And a lot of people leave their books in some cities. And I found this one here. It's called The Little Book of Hygge, about the Danish way to live well. So, obviously, this is a very, very popular approach to living. I think everyone's heard of Hygge before, but I hadn't looked into it until now. And I think it's a really cute book. So, do you want to look through it with me? We could start here with the question of what it even is. And the question, can Hygge be translated? So a little less than half of the people they asked said yes, but more than a third said no. About 18% aren't sure. And similarly, a third of the people said Hygge is mainly practiced in Denmark. And just over half said no, it's also practiced elsewhere. There are words like gezelligheid in the Netherlands. There is koselig in Norway, hominess in Canada, and Gemütlichkeit in German. But he says none of these are quite the same as Hygge. Geselligkeit is something that's rather outside, whereas Hygge is mostly at home. Koselig is also a feeling of warmth, intimacy, and getting together. A perfect koselig evening would consist of good food on the table, warm covers around you, a group of good friends in a fireplace, or at least some lighted candles. There's hominess, which also implies a feeling of authenticity, warmth, and togetherness. And then there's Gemütlichkeit, which I'm very familiar with. So it's the state of warmth, friendliness, and belonging, often used to describe the atmosphere at a German beer garden. Now, I'm not so sure about that. When I think of Oktoberfest, I'm not really thinking of a gemütlich environment. I think it's rather ungemütlich and a bit loud and rowdy. But maybe it depends what your expectations are in terms of Gemütlichkeit. Here's also a little comparison between hyggelig and gezellig, so between the Dutch and the Danes. Gezellig in the Netherlands is mostly associated with the season of summer, whereas the Danes associate hyggelig with autumn and winter. Not only after that, a little bit of summer and spring. So I think that shows that gesellig is probably more outside, and hyggelig in Denmark is something that's associated with inside. So, what is it? There we are. So we have the Hygge Manifesto with 10 points that are associated with hygge. So let's look through these. First of all, there's the atmosphere who says, turn down the lights and instead light a candle. So I would say, let's do that. Alright, so that already looks quite cozy. Then it says, present, be here now, turn off the phones. If you're watching this on your phone, please don't turn off your phone. Stay here with me. But of course, that's very true. To sometimes put the phone aside, or at least turn off notifications and just enjoy the moment. Then number 3, we have pleasure with a picture of a cake with a little cherry on top. Coffee, chocolate, cookies, cakes, candy. Gimme, gimme, gimme. And I do have something here. A mug of hot water and some of my favorite tea. This is by a company called Sonnentor. And their products, I think they're all organic. And this one here is called Heavy Metal. So when I saw that, I had to get it. I'm a big metal fan. And it's a herbal spice tea blend, certified organic. And it consists of black cumin, thyme, rooibos, savory, some purple carrots, black pepper, black hollyhock, and I think this should be cumin. So black cumin and just plain cumin, I guess. Alright. Let's let that steep for a little bit. And put this aside. And here I have what's called a Swedish nut. So I think this is basically like a kanelbulle, I think it's called in Sweden, a cinnamon roll, except it's not rolled. It's a nut. And it's with sugar on top. It has a filling of cinnamon and there's some cardamom in there. So I'm gonna have that later with my tea. Okay, that already looks quite hyggelig, I think you would say. Then here you have some woolen socks and it says equality, meaning we over me, share the tasks and the airtime. So work together to make your home cozy and then enjoy a nice evening together. Number 5 is gratitude. Take it in. This might be as good as it gets. So really enjoy the present moment. That really ties in with number 2, presence. Number 6 is harmony. It's not a competition. We already like you. There's no need to brag about your achievements. Though I think it's okay to brag a little and to be proud of your achievements. That's okay. Just celebrate them together. Number 7 is comfort. Get comfy, take a break. It's all about relaxation, so get your pillows and your blankets. And get warm and cozy. Number 8 is truth. No drama. Let's discuss politics another day. And I really, really like this bird here. A little dove of peace, I guess, in blue. It just looks really cute. I like this. Number 9 is togetherness. Build relationships and narratives. Like, do you remember the time we did that and that? So there's this nice big heart. And number 10 is shelter. This is your tribe. This is a place of peace and security. And it has this little image of a really cozy armchair. And in fact, I'm looking for a chair like that. I hope I can find one. But this last piece here, this is a place of peace and security. Reminds me of a different point that they mentioned here in the Hygge dictionary. Because in fact there's also a word to say something is ohyggelikt. I hope I'm pronouncing this at least somewhat correctly. And that's the opposite of hygge. It means creepy or scary. And it provides us with some insight into how central the feeling of safety is to hygge. So walking alone through the woods at night is ohyggelikt if you hear a wolf howling. But at the start of the book, the the author points out that they spent an evening in a cabin in Sweden, an evening by the open fire together with their friends after a day of skiing. And a friend pointed out that the evening would have been even more hygge if there had been a storm outside. So, perhaps hygge is even more hygge if there's a controlled element of danger, of uhygge, a storm, thunder, or a scary movie. So, I think I can understand what's meant here. If there were rain outside, if you could hear the raindrops against the window, there's a level of just being extra cozy at home. I mean, you can snuggle up in your blanket. But we don't have that today. I can hear some birds singing outside. The sun is setting. So there's no level of danger here. Alright. So let's see what else we have in this book. So here we see this image of a candle, and some information about how often Danes light a candle. And I thought that was really interesting because 28% say every day, and another 23% 4 to 6 days per week. Only 4% say they never light a candle. And then even more interestingly, they also asked how many candles are lit at a time. And only 5% said 1 candle, but an incredible 31% said 5 candles or more. Or in fact more than 5 candles. So that is a lot. I think the most I've lit was 4 on the Sunday before Christmas, because that's what you would traditionally do. And then maybe for the 10 minutes when we light the Christmas tree. But that's it. I'm happy with just 1. But light in general is a really big deal. In fact, the entire first chapter is dedicated to light and lamps. It says, here you want wood and candle flames are sort of the kind of light that is your hygge sweet spot. So warm light, nothing too bright. And you want to create multiple pools of light throughout the room. And in fact there are 3 iconic Danish lamps introduced here. And maybe it's no coincidence that these were invented in Denmark, where hygge is such a big concept. So this is the pH lamp. It gave a softer and more diffuse light by using a series of layered shades to disperse the light, yet conceal the light bulb. In addition, to bring the harsh white light towards the red end of the spectrum, pH gave the inner side of one element of the shade a red color. So, down here. Then over here you have Le Clint, which you might have already seen in one of the really big stores from Sweden. So these are folded shades out of paper. And it says it became a family business, applying the skills in design, innovation, and business of the sons and daughters of Clint. And it's from 1943. And then here we have the Pantone VP Globe. So this is a pendant lamp which casts calming diffused light from its center rim. It was designed in 1969 by Werner Pantone, the enfant terrible of Danish design, who loved to work with modern materials like plastic and steel. Which I guess is a bit unusual because it also says to use mostly natural materials. So the hygge tip that we have here is to create hyggelig lighting. Bring out the candles, but remember to air out the room. You may also want to consider your electric light strategy. Several smaller lamps around the room create a more hyggelig light than one big lamp set in the ceiling. You want to create small caves of light around the room. Alright, so that's something I'm going to keep in mind for my new place. Alright, and then I just quickly like to look through the 5 dimensions of hygge. And we start off with the taste, so I'm going to have a little sip of my tea. It says taste is an important element because it often involves eating something. And there's something cannot be too fresh, alternative, or challenging in any way. So it's almost always familiar, sweet, and comforting. You might want to add some honey to your tea. You may want to add icing to your cake, or if you're making a stew, maybe you want to add some wine to have this really rich and warm flavor. I have to admit, my Swedish knot is not completely fresh. I bought it yesterday because today is a Sunday and I wasn't sure whether the bakery would be open. Vienna is a little bit like the city that never wakes up on a Sunday. It's definitely a rest day. And a lot of bakeries are open, at least until noon, but not all of them, and I wasn't sure with this one, so I got it yesterday. But that's okay, still good. Then here we have the sound of hygge. And it describes the small sparks and dynamic crackles of burning wood. Or if you live in a flat and cannot have an open fire, you might think of the raindrops on the roof, wind blowing outside the window, the sound of trees waving in the wind, wooden planks that yield when you walk on them. It might be the sounds of a person drawing, cooking, or knitting. Or it might be the sound of a very soft-spoken video that you're watching. I think ASMR definitely also falls in this category sometimes. Then of course there's the smell. Have you ever smelled something that takes you back to a time and place where you felt safe? Or smelled something that, more than a memory, gives you a flashback of how the world used to look when you were a child? So scents can invoke really strong feelings of security and comfort, and they can really make you feel at home. So of course there's baking, there's I think also the scent of a perfume or of incense during the colder months. So having your home smell nice is a big part of Hygge. And then there's another sense. What does Hygge feel like? So it might be letting your fingers run across a wooden surface, a warm ceramic cup, or through the hairs of the skin of a reindeer. It all brings out the Hygge. So old, homemade stuff that has taken a lot of time to make is always more Hyggelig than bought and new stuff. Small things are always more Hyggelig than big things. So the slogan for Denmark might be the smaller, the more Hyggelig. And that's where it says here that shiny metal and glass are not really Hyggelig. You might want to use wood, ceramics, wool, leather, anything with real craftsmanship. Then of course there's seeing Hygge. We've already talked about light. Here we see a window with some snowflakes outside. So anything that had slow movements, gently falling snow, the lazy flames from an open fire. So slow, organic movements and dark, natural colors are Hyggelig. So Hygge is dimmed, rustic and slow. And with all of these together, you create a sixth sense of Hygge. And ultimately, it's about feeling safe. So Hygge is an indicator that you trust the ones that you are with and where you are. And I think that's a really nice sentiment. And I think a lot of it really fits also with this idea of ASMR. Of course, there are the tingles from certain sounds or visual triggers. But often it's also a feeling of being very, very comfortable and feeling safe. And a little sleepy. Warm and happy. And comfortable in your surroundings and your body. So I'm going to enjoy my Swedish pastry now by this beautiful candlelight and my cup of tea. And I hope that you too will have a very relaxed evening. And I'll see you again next time. Goodbye.